Welcome back, everybody. In 9.1, which is blissfully short, this is really just pages 557 in the text, we've got kind of a callback to primitive data types, and we have a foreshadowing of what we can do with wrapper classes. So all this while we've been using primitive data types, right? We have had integers and doubles and floats and characters and booleans, and we've really grown accustomed, I think, to the way it is that we can use those. So we can make an assignment to a variable, right? So we can store a value in there. We can pass a primitive data type to a method. We can receive as a returned value a primitive data type from a method. And all of those things I think everybody is pretty familiar and comfortable with to date. You'll remember, though, with the array list in the previous chapter, that we couldn't do it with primitive data types because those array lists were actually wrappers for objects. So we needed things like a string object, or we needed things like a user-defined object via a class that we could go back and use in an array list. The wrapper class gives us a way to use primitive data types, and it gives us a way to access certain inbuilt methods that are associated with those primitive data types without actually having to write them ourselves. So we have seen this already just a little bit in the previous chapter when we would declare a new object of a primitive data type. So we would say integer something equals new integer, and then it would have a value in the parentheses. So that's essentially what we have been doing with it. It's just that the advance and retreat theory of textbook writing comes into play here. We have shown you how to do something. Now let's go back and take a look. So that's essentially the wrapper class. It is inbuilt into Java. It has a collection of methods that are associated with it that we're going to see throughout the rest of the chapter here. And it gives a developer a little bit of flexibility for how it is that they want to program. And it also gives them the opposite of flexibility. It gives them a really rigid control over how it is that they want certain data elements to be accessed and modified. So that's what we're going to take a look at in the rest of the sections here for chapter 9.